to my friend, a friend of our community, and a great example of what we can all be. My good friend, Moctesuma Smart.
I want to thank all of you for this opportunity to express myself. And first, to thank Richard. Richard has played a really important role in my life. And when I was asked, who would you like to introduce you? Immediately I thought of Richard. He was one of the very first role models of a Chicano who got an education, looked cool. He was always in a suit. Nobody was cool at the Richard Auditorium. He was always impeccably dressed and was committed to his community. This auditorium, this Biltmore Bowl, has a lot of meaning to it. Here, 50 years ago, Governor Reagan was standing where I'm standing, telling the Norvasistas Conference why he was cutting bilingual education from the state budget. And many of us got up and we marched in front of him and we clapped inappropriately. And we were arrested. I remember seeing the governor point and say, "Arrest them!" And the police streamed out from the sides, and about 41 of us were arrested. That night, at Lincoln Heights Jail, at 3 in the morning, Richard was there to bail me out. Now, what's important about that is that it wasn't the first time he bailed me out. It happened a couple of times. And the first time was for the East LA 13, where we faced 45 years. And Richard raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for the defense of the East LA 13. So I stand here today because of his efforts and the efforts of so many others who defended their own. That second arrest, where he bailed me out, ended up becoming a grand jury secret indictment, where I faced 20 to life, and I was on trial for another 3 years. It was serious. And it was the response of a power structure who did not want to see our community get educated, did not want to see our community take its role and contribute what it could to the American dream, to this country, to make a difference to what happens here in the United States. They were not ready for us. And it felt like a dying gasp that they would beat up high school students, that they would arrest college students, and threaten them with 20 years to life. We are in that moment again. We have a challenge again. And we have to support people like Linda Sanchez. We have to send her to Congress with another 50 Linda Sanchez's. We have to take the power that our community has and exercise it. I take this award deeply seriously because it is named after a giant, Dionicio. who did the impossible when he founded this organization in 1963. It is a great deal to look up to. Earlier this evening, I attended the memorial services for Bahak Martirosyan, one of the most great Chicanos I have ever known. Bahak Martirosyan was an orphan in Tijuana, raised in Tijuana, came to the United States, became a Baptist minister, and when children ran to his church near Garfield High School and told him that the police and the sheriffs were beating up the students that were walking out, he ran there and got in between the police and the children. And then he organized the parents and became the single most important organizer of parents of Mexicanos, Mexicanas here in Los Angeles that had ever existed. He became the chair of the Educational Issues Coordinating Committee, that became the chair of the Mexican American Education Commission. And then he went on to found Beacon, the Parent Institute for Quality Education, that educated 650,000 parents on their rights, on how to make sure their children got an education. Honoring people like him and Dionicio is extremely important. We must protect and own our history. We must tell the world who we are. We must win our own future. I'm deeply moved to be in that tradition. I'm deeply moved to be with you. Thank you.